If you guys remember last year, I made a video telling you all about the ghost girls in the Pokemon games, including the extra creepy ghost girl in Pokemon X and Y. Well, with new Pokemon games out, new ghost girls have been found as well. In Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, one of the Elite Four trainers you fight is named Phoebe. Like every member of the Elite Four, Phoebe has a certain type of Pokemon she uses. In this case, of course, it's the ghost types. Her section of the game is also ghost themed, and before you walk into her room, you see this crazy light show. It's as if spirits were rising to enter the building. Afterwards, when you talk to Phoebe, she tells you that she trained at Mount Pyre, which is the location where the people of Hoenn bury their dead Pokemon. Kinda like the Pokemon Tower in Pokemon Red and Blue. An interesting note is that the old woman on Mount Pyre that gives you the orb to summon Kyogre or Groudon is in fact Phoebe's grandmother. So with all that known, you would think that Phoebe must have a very spiritual background, which would explain why she uses ghost-type Pokemon. The creepy thing about all this is that something happens in the corner of the room just before your battle with Phoebe. If you keep your eye on the chair in the background, you'll see this. Yup, a little ghost girl. It's only there for a split second, so most people probably wouldn't even notice her. And she never even appears again, so if you try to go through the Elite Four after becoming champion, she still won't be there. After the ghost girl disappears, the screen turns black, and then the camera angle changes, as if we're getting a first-person view from the ghost girl's eyes, just standing there watching us. Kinda like the camera view from the spooky house. That's not the only time this little ghost girl appears though. As your conversation with Phoebe continues, the camera angle changes yet again. This time, the little ghost girl appears right next to you. Now that's just creepy. When the battle is over, you talk to Phoebe again, but this time the ghost girl seems to be gone. Phoebe does mention that she has the ability to commune with ghost-type Pokemon, but the ghost we saw wasn't a Pokemon. It was a girl. So maybe Phoebe can communicate with dead humans as well. And this ghost girl is just trying to communicate with us for some reason. But what exactly does she want to tell us? Another theory is that the ghost girl is actually Phoebe's sister, who dies in the manga version of Pokemon. I guess that this would make sense if it were true. It would mean that her sister is just trying to communicate and let Phoebe know that she's still with her. But that's not the only ghost girl in the game. The ghost girl from Pokemon X and Y is back as well. But this time she's hanging out at Mount Pyre, out in the open. It says the exact same words that she did in X and Y. No, you're not the one. So does this mean she's alive when the events of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are happening? It's still unclear exactly what her purpose actually is. Another Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire mystery is about a supposed haunted apartment in the game. In a location called Malville Hills, there's a variety of different apartments. Some occupied and some vacant. All of the apartments have an intercom though, and if someone is inside, they'll speak to you. If nobody is inside, it'll just say that there was no reply. This will happen for all of the apartments, except for one, in which that one will just give you this response. As if someone is inside and trying to keep quiet, so they don't have to respond to you. But what could be hiding in there? Maybe a ghost? Why would I think it's a ghost of all things? Well, if you read the nameplate next to any of the apartments, it'll tell you who lives inside the apartment. For this one weird apartment though, the nameplate says this: the unit is vacant. There's a great deal on the lease. Now why do most places have great deals on certain places they want to rent or sell quickly? Because usually there's something wrong with them. It could be that it just has a leaky roof, or it could be because someone was killed in the apartment. I might just be looking too deep into this, sure, but why would it even be there if it had no point? At this point, there have been so many different ghost girls appearing throughout the series. Makes you wonder if Game Freak is actually trying to set up something for the future. Perhaps somehow involving the currently unreleased legendary Pokemon Hoopa. These could all just be silly Easter eggs and will never be mentioned again, or even mean anything other than that. I guess that we'll just have to wait and see what Game Freak has in store for us in the future. Until then, let me know any theories that you guys come up with in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, this has been Brandon, and I'll see you guys in the next video.